What up? It's your boy T-Bear here in the reaction. Today is Wrestling Wednesday. So I want to kick Wrestling Wednesday up with a video. I caught my fellow YouTuber J-Rock, the Great One, checking out. I thought I'd check this out myself. This is called, and I gotta bring it up on my phone because sometimes it don't show up on here. Is how the Kliq, bring it fully up. When the Kliq curtain call rocked the wrestling world, and that is major facts. It wasn't for that infamous curtain call. For those of you not familiar with curtain call, it was around a time during the slightly towards the end of the new generation era, and in the live event match where it was the last WWE contracted match for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, time known as Razor Ramon and Diesel, as well as and they had and so with that after one of the match between one of the two, them two along with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, well at the time Hurt Hensley, gathered together and hugged each other as it was their last program together. As the time Scott Hall and Kevin Nash's contract went up and they was heading to WCW, and because of that, it was a big thing that happened with that as the infamous thing was caught on video that got circled around, and because of that, a lot happened as well too. The negative was Triple H, Chandler Hensley at the time, was slated to be the next winner of the King of the Ring, and it was voided because of that, and he had to been punished by taking mad losses. Some punishment from Shawn Michaels took place as well too. But the positive of this was, one, it was it was kind of like another seed planted for the soon-to-be Attitude Era, as well as launched in a way kind of like launched the Monday Night War with NWO, as Kevin Nash and Scott Hall went to WCW, started as the Outsiders and started NWO with Hulk Hogan. And one little bonus is also catapults the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, as he ended up being the one that went in the King of the Ring and dropped the infamous Austin 360 speech as well too. And then and also the DX happened as well too. But either way, we're gonna get the full story from the score on how when the Kliq curtain call rocked the wrestling world. And also it dropped the whole kayfabe one. The kayfabe in wrestling started doing it down a little bit as well too. So that being said, without further ado, let's check this video out. And shout out to J-Rock, the Great One, for this. Hold on, I gotta sorry. You're hearing this, but not me, so I don't know why. Hold on. Oh, Jesus Christ. I know why. Give me a second. Yeah, I know why. I forgot to keep this thing charged when away, or turn it off at least, because that's stupid. But anyway, there you go.
When wrestling fans entered Madison Square Garden on May 19th, 1996, no one could have predicted the seismic consequences of what was supposed to be a standard WWF house show. By the time the untelevised event wrapped up, wrestling history would be rewritten, and the world of sports entertainment would never be the same.
Thanks.
When WCW launched Monday Nitro in 1995 to combat then WWF's Monday Night Raw, Ted Turner's promotion threw fuel on the fire of its rivalry with Vince McMahon's company. Thus began a riveting era in wrestling history known as the Monday Night War. In the early days of those television battles, a group of WWF's in-ring stars had consolidated a considerable amount of backstage power over McMahon and his team. The Kliq, as they came to be known, consisted of Shawn Michaels, Paul Levesque, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Kevin Nash, then known as Diesel, Scott Hall as Razor Ramon, and Sean Waltman as the 1-2-3 Kid. With McMahon's ear and a commitment to stick together, the Kliq heavily influenced the direction of storylines, the outcome of matches, and the career trajectories of not only themselves, but the WWF roster as a whole. It turns out the only thing that could stop them was WCW, who poached Nash and Hall in 1996 with bigger, more guaranteed contracts than McMahon was willing to offer. The pair's last matches were to take place at an MSG house show on May 19th. No television or pay-per-view
both their matches.
just the tens of thousands in attendance in New York. The very last match of that show saw Michaels.
So yeah, I gave y'all the gist of it though, as much as I know, but glad this is also giving the better detail as well too. So yeah.
Good guy or babyface take on bad guy or
there you
heel
go. I was wondering why I
Nash.
couldn't hear it
At the
much.
time, wrestling promotions went to great lengths to maintain the illusion of their on-screen storylines.
Yeah.
Wrestlers were supposed to remain in character at public events, and on-screen rivals weren't supposed to be caught fraternizing together in public.
Right.
The Kliq was about to turn that sacred.
Yeah, right. Because you know, if you heard some of the story back then, a lot of folks would have to either eat at different bars or sit at different places of the bar. It's kind of showing the Young Rock as well too, with Rocky Johnson and downtown Bruno, aka Harvey Whipperman, as well too. And you know, even like fight, even they make like make believe they act like rivals in front of folks as well too, to carry on. You know, they was real friends behind the scenes as well too. I mean, of course, you know, the Kliq's not the only like back crew amongst wrestlers. The other well-known crew amongst wrestlers was the Bone Skull crew. I think I said it right. That was Undertaker, because Undertaker, Yokozuna, Fatu, Rikishi at the time, right? Fatu, Godfather, the Godwins, Henry and Phineas, aka Midian, and I think also Kane Glenn Jake was part of it as well too. I might got some guy mixed up, but yeah, despite having the crews behind the scenes as well too, at on screen in front of fans stuff like that, they have to be rivals. So yeah, so that was the thing about wrestling back then. But like I said, the current call changed the whole thing with kayfabe going down the line. You know, some try to still live kayfabe like MJF, but still.
Time-old tradition on its head. When the match between Nash and Michaels ended, Levesque, then a heel, and Hall, a face, joined them in the ring. Hall's goodbye hug to Michaels would have been suspect enough, but when Levesque broke character to hug Michaels, Hall, and Nash, any remnants of the WWF's facade came tumbling down. A four-man group hug and a joint salute to the crowd sent fans into a frenzy, but to McMahon and pro wrestling purists, those actions were downright scandalous. The events of that night in New York came to be known as the curtain call, and were seen as an affront to the industry. To McMahon and company, it was already bad enough, but when fan-recorded camcorder footage of the shocking moment hit websites and magazines, the WWF found itself with egg on its face. The fans' camcorders alone had to be snuck in past security. Something needed to be done, and someone had to pay. But with Nash and Hall already en route to WCW, where they would spearhead the NWO and an 84-week dominance over WWF in the Monday TV ratings, Diesel and Razor Ramon couldn't be punished. Meanwhile, Michaels was the WWF champion at the time, one of the company's biggest draws and arguably the entire industry's greatest entertainer. Unwilling to make the Heartbreak Kid the whipping boy, McMahon's fury ultimately came down on Levesque. As punishment for the curtain call, plans for Triple H to make the finals of the 1996 King of the Ring tournament were scrapped. In his place, the company pushed an up-and-comer by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin. In the aftermath of winning the 96 King of the Ring by beating legend Jake the Snake Roberts in the final, Austin delivered an unforgettable on-mic promo that made him an overnight superstar.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
Yeah, that right there gave them fans, and it was starting to be hard to boo this man. Because remember, he was supposed to be the bad guy then. It was starting to hard to be boo that man. And when that happened, that also changed, you know, the trajectory of wrestling. Because, you know, at the time, you know, they was really traditional with rooting for the baby faces and booing the heels. But this kind of also... Well, it was kind of like it was like a rare time when it was vice versa because at that time what was the Hogan situation because they got tired of Hogan or in general I think most of the time it was just the Hogan situation where they got tired of rooting for tired of winning anything as well too, which is very rare. But still, when this happened, it started coming more rare. That's when Attitude Era really transpired, and a lot of guys who were known as heels got turned bay faces as well too, and it became like the new style bay faces is being a badass more than whatever. I mean, that's why, you know, a lot of folks is questioning about what was Kurt Angle compared to other at the time, but yeah.
From the moment Austin 316 entered wrestling fans' lexicon and into the 21st century, Stone Cold became the most fervently supported wrestler. A beer-chugging anti-hero who, along with The Rock, helped spearhead the so-called Attitude Era that propelled WWF back to the top. The Attitude Era and WWF ratings were also greatly aided by a Michaels and Levesque-led faction known as D-Generation X that may never have come to fruition.
And also them. You know, the X started as heels, and like I said, always say it's questionable, but I feel like they was tweener most of the time, except for certain feuds like with him and Shawn Michaels and Austin for the title, for as Austin go for the title as well too in the beginning. But all the time they was tweener, and then they got later on got down the line became babyfaces. So yeah.
If not for the events of the Curtain Call. During one scripted promo in 1997, Michaels and Triple H even used footage of the infamous incident to troll a ringside McMahon.
All right, wait a minute. That was supposed to be Vince McMahon's biggest day. The first time Madison Square Garden had been
Look at his face.
off the street. Oh, Vin, man, what's the matter? That subject's still a little too sensitive for you, Vin, man.
It was exactly that type of rebellious, anti-authority attitude that birthed DX, which was WWF's answer to the NWO. Along with Stone Cold, The Rock, and a more obscene brand of storytelling, DX helped WWF squash WCW once and for all. McMahon eventually bought out the company in 2001. The Curtain Call had peeled back the curtain on the entire industry. But by tapping into it and embracing a more raw identity in which the lines between reality and fiction were sometimes blurred, McMahon's promotion was forever better off. After years of merely providing play-by-play for his company's televised events, it was around this time that McMahon began including himself in storylines, often pitting himself against the likes of Austin, DX, and others, to much fanfare. And it was all thanks to 4 wrestlers who wanted to give each other a friendly send-off in front of an unwitting crowd. And a couple young fans whose footage of the incident went viral before viral was even a thing.
Exactly.
19 years.
That's the thing about that, though. Viral wasn't a thing at the time, and that happened like that.
Later, former members of the Kliq surprised those fans back at MSG in hilarious fashion.
We taped it not to sell it, not to trade it. What we did is
wow.
Guys,
look at that.
You guys know, like in the beginning of those shows, there's like a disclaimer about you know, like shooting video and prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law. So I'd like to have these officers just have a look with you guys. Thanks.
It's too cute.
All right, get these guys out of here. Get them in. Get them in. Bootlegging's a crime.
If you were a fan of wrestling during its late 90s or remain one today, you owe much of what the industry has become to the Curtain. How ironic that in a form of sports entertainment often mocked for its fiction, one of the most influential moments in wrestling history was an unscripted one with no TV cameras in sight. Thanks for watching.
And there you have it, though. Like I said, definitely rocked the wrestling world when it comes to. Hold up. Yeah, I'm not sure why that started. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it stopped. I know why. Sorry, it's not doing it. Sorry, but I give up. Anyway, at least it's better viewing, but at the same time, it's still a work. It works. Anyway, like I said, this was a good video to watch as well too, to get the full story and background and more into depth of it as well too. But yeah, definitely was the help rock the wrestling world as well too. I mean, because of that, the NWA probably would have still happened, but not as way it would have been. The Attitude Era wouldn't have happened. Austin 360 possibly would have not happened if it wasn't for this moment right here. So like I said, this is definitely one of the greatest beautiful mistake in wrestling history ever. That changed wrestling forever. It wasn't that. I mean, we got NWO, Austin 316, the Attitude Era in general, where more relative characters became fan favorites as well too, instead of the typical cliche goody goody good shot, good guy and bad guys. Unfortunately, the downside of that, socially wise, why a lot of folks don't like good guys no more. I mean, or don't like and barely like baby faces because of that as well too. But at the same time, they do like baby faces. Well, if only if they're anti-hero like behavior or badasses like the one in the Attitude Era as well too. And like I say, I always say that this also was the reason that we later down the line got the first Reign of Terror as well too, because of Paul Levesque getting punished for that as well too. So that's why we got that that and a couple times he held the title before then for a long time as well too because of that. But yeah, because he even had a promo. He even had a promo during his heel Triple H, the game Triple H to Jim Ross, mentioning about him getting punished for the current call as well too. So yeah. Other than that, if you like my reaction to this, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, shout out to J Rock, the great one, for giving me. He didn't personally say it, but gave me a take. I checked it out from the channel. I was like, let me check this out myself. It's your boy T-Bear signing out. One love. This really wasn't the next video. This rock thing. I try to pause it. I clicked the link, and you know how it is. Anyway, it's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.